Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for a purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. For uses of use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now let's start this dang show.
You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
That's not the regular song we open up with. What's up, Jeff?
It's about time you had perfection back on this show. You've been missing me since I was last on, being awarded the belt. So I'm back. I'm back.
We're gonna start that soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna start that soon.
I gotta get this ready to defend for this coming season, baby.
Well, we're gonna start this soon when we start doing fantasy football. So don't. Okay, the belt's coming back home. It's coming back home, and I hope it comes with stains of your tears on it. Okay.
I've been keeping her nice and clean. She went on a little road trip. I don't know if I don't know if everybody knows this, but since I've had the belt, she's gotten around. She went to the draft with us, the NFL draft. She went to Pittsburgh. She's not going to go to Vegas or LA, but I'm going to leave her. Too much.
Don't try to keep her sanitized. All right. Now you're probably wondering, where is Asylum? Where is Asylum? You know, Asylum told me he's overseas right now. He's working right now. He said, I asked him, what do you do for work? He goes, oh, I do things, whatever. I understand what he said, but right now Jeff is sitting in for him. When I try to ask him again, like, what do you do for work? He didn't tell me. Well, I don't know. It didn't seem clear. So I think he's really his real job. He's a government agent. That's what I feel like. You've heard of 007? Well, he is 0.08, agent 0.08, Cage Bond, FAFO, responsibly.
Oh, that's
so I think. Also, his birthday was on the 1st, shares the same birthday as Cliff Branch. So happy birthday, Asylum. If you are watching overseas right now, he's about like 7-8 hours ahead of us. So he goes, I'm in the future. I said, all right, what's the numbers? I'm not that far in the future. I said, whatever. All
My
right.
guess was he's a special operative member of Delta Force, so I can't tell you what I do. That's what I thought.
Jason Down says that your mic is a little low. So
Test 1 2 3.
oh, there we go. Now I can hear you when you talk more mess. There you go. All right. All right, so I'm back. The cage match is back. I was doing a couple live broadcasts as we started this Bay Area Nation. Me, Raider Singh, and Raider J out of Vallejo, Vacaville up there. So we started this thing. We got big things coming up too. We already did a draft party, another party. And then Singh had his own. Singh had his event at his place up in Oakley, California. So that was a big success. And I brought all my equipment to stream from there. So if those who are watching, I appreciate it. I know it wasn't really too much to really talk about because I was just waiting for the performers to come up and perform and. So yeah, so if you want to watch that, I am editing the video because I'm still working on the sound. Sound kind of drifted, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, so we're back for our 4th season. I wasn't gonna end the show. Like the show still had to go on because we had goals, and we're gonna make those goals. And Asylum, his streak is already over. So the Jim Otto 200 plus starting streak, that's over. Right now, like I said, he's overseas. And I said, all right, Jeff, I'm not gonna beg. I'm not gonna come to you. I know he had the oh, you come to the champion, huh? Oh, okay, yeah. Hold on, kiss the belt. I said, come on, dude. Okay. I just need someone to come on for Asylum. And here you are. So thank you, Jeff, for coming on. I'm gonna need your help though.
You ask, and I'm more than happy to come on for you. You know that. Is my mic still off? Because I just tried changing the settings.
No, you sound better now. You sound better now.
Well, because Israel just said it was still low. But we'll see. Turn your volume.
So I need your help because I've been out of touch. Doing all these live feeds, and to be honest, I heard no noise, nothing crazy. Because I remember last year around this time, and Asylum would say, "See, you jinxed it." I'm all like, you know what? Pete Carroll coming in, there hasn't been any noise. It's been like quiet, like it's been like how it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Breaking news: Christian Wilkins has been released from the Raiders. No disclosed information, whatever. And I was all like, "Oh, yeah, my bad. That was me. I messed up. I spoke too soon." And now, from there on, it was just a snowball effect that kept going and kept going and kept going, and got us to this point where we left off on the show. We had the draft, Fernando Mendoza, #1 overall. And I know when you gave me notes, you were like, okay, we finally signed him. That's all right. So I'm a little rusty hosting the show, a little rusty. So, okay, let me know what was, because it took a while. I didn't even know. I thought he was already signed, but it took a while. This happened when? When did he get signed?
The day rookie training camp opened up, so a week ago this past Friday.
Yeah. And he's making a lot right there. He's making a lot. He got 4 years, $57 million. All of that's guaranteed. Average salary $14 million. 38 signing bonus. And of course, he got the 4 years with the 5th-year option. Tell me about this, or educate me on what this whole thing was about.
Basically, it was the signing bonus, because the way historically the Raiders do it is they pay that out in installments. So it wasn't necessarily how much money he was getting paid. There was no problems with that. It was just how he was getting his money.
So the
Yeah.
Raiders tend to pay out the signing bonuses in increments. So like Leo says, he goes, they pay like Klarna does, where, like how you pay Klarna, like every month you pay them so much money. So it was the same way. The Raiders might give him like, out of that 38 mil, might be like 12 mil a year until it's paid off. But his crew wanted it paid up front. They wanted the full 38 million in his hand, in his pocket now. So that was the sticking point. And they still didn't say, at least I haven't heard anything as far as how they're paying him the 38, if it is still going to be one lump sum or if it's going to be spread out at all. But that was the sticking point. Some people are like, well, he wants the bag. No, the money's not the problem. He's already okay with how much they're offering him for the contract and for the signing bonus. It's just how he's getting it paid. That was the problem.
Yeah. I know. See, the last time we had a first overall pick, he didn't sign his contract.
No.
He held out for more money. So I'm glad that they, that whole thing that they did back in the day, where your the first round picks can go and try to make more money than guys who've been there in the league, who has skin in the game, compared to a guy who hasn't even played hasn't played it down yet in the professional league. So, but yeah, I mean, the money's getting higher and higher, as you see right here, compared to the last number one overall quarterback since 2020, Joe Burrow with the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just compared to last year, Cam Ward making $48.75, guaranteed. Mendoza, $57.27. I mean, we're spending money. We're spending big.
Yeah.
And that comes with it being the first overall pick. So,
well, I mean, the big difference between Jamarcus and Fernando is the fact that this is a rookie salary cap. Now, there wasn't back then.
Yes.
So these number one picks were getting offered ridiculous money for not proving themselves. With the collective bargaining agreement, what they did was they set that salary cap for rookies. So, and it goes up every year because the salary cap goes up. That's why I look at from 2020 with Joe Burrow to now with Mendoza, it's a $20 million jump on that 4-year contract. That's a big chunk of money. Over 6 years, and it's gone up 20 mil. That's insane. If Joe Burrow came out now, he would make the maximum amount available. All these guys all these number one picks would have made top dollar.
And each one of them started game one, week one. Joe Burrow, he started week one, right?
Yep.
I believe. Yeah, I know Trevor Lawrence was a day one starter under what's his name? They didn't do so well. I can see his face too. The head coach.
Was it Del Rio? That was there?
No, it was the college coach that came up and no, it's not Spurrier.
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer hanging out with the 16-year-old, whatever. I don't know. No allegations. I'm just saying. Bryce Young had his first couple years are up and down rocky, but I know he was a day one starter. Caleb Williams in his second year, bounced back from his first year, and then Cam Ward is likely going to be out the door probably after the season or whatever. So Mendoza's the only one that's not going to be starting as of the plan is right now. And I know from what I heard that Kirk Cousins is looking good, and they just got the pads on. He's looking good. His main target's been Brock Bowers. Fernando Mendoza's main target has been Malik Benson. So that was the next one with the receivers. The receiver battle. Okay, like I said, I'm a little rusty hosting the show. It's been a long time. Going into the receivers, I know you was talking about how there is a battle brewing with the receiving core, and for sure it's going to be Trey Tucker and Nate Naylor, right?
Just Naylor, yeah.
So, but now it's who's going to be the third receiver behind them. Jack Besh last year, didn't really get too many opportunities. Thornton was getting fed early. That didn't really pan out all that well. Could have been the offensive line trying to block for the quarterback. Could have been the quarterback throwing it to triple coverage. Could have been the offensive coordinator, but we don't want to go back. Let's not go back in time. Let's put that to rest. But then you got Benson. Benson, the rookie, has been turning heads. And tell me more about that one.
I actually, in all honesty, when we were doing mock drafts before the draft, there were a few times where I drafted him. So I was kind of psyched to see that we actually grabbed him. And I think going into training camp before they even started, I kind of had him as a dark horse to make the 53. So I'm not surprised. I'm really not. But I mean, the other thing is, what is there for competition in the wide receivers right now? That's you've got two guys that were drafted last year. One can't hang on to the ball and seems to be struggling again, and that's Thornton. Betch, neither one of them got enough playing time last year. So I'm kind of chalking that up to just bad coaching last year, bad team overall. But I mean, Benson walks in at a perfect opportunity right now because he could easily replace Dante Thornton. Now remember, Dante Thornton started the entire season last year for the most part.
Yes.
He was out there more than Betch. I mean, just look at the numbers too. I mean, you're talking about the number of receptions versus catches or targets. So Betch has a better overall average on that. Yes, Thornton's got him beat in the yards per reception. But he's got him by 100 yards receiving. Neither one of them have a touchdown.
No.
So it was kind of an unsuccessful season for both of them. So I think Malik Benson could walk right in here and have a serious impact on this team. So I'm looking forward to it if that's the case.
Yeah, and no, I was going to say, I kept saying on the show that it's hard to judge. It's hard to judge what we had last year in a lot of the positions, especially offensive line too, which you'll get into.
Yeah.
But like the way the offense was ran, the way Pete Carroll, like he had his favorites, and you can tell who his favorites were. I mean, Thornton, rookie, it seemed like he was one of his favorites because he was always on the field, like you said. Jack Besh, who was the second round pick. He didn't get that much playing time. He didn't really get that much, like no plays were for him. And then of course with the bad quarterback play, the offensive court, the offense, the way it was ran, where they weren't really using Ashton Genty to start the game, like to kind of just get the offense going. They wanted to pass happy and then eventually get to the run. It was all so I kept saying that it's hard to really judge what we had last year due to the circumstances that all of us had to go through, meaning the team, the coaching. So the players are all over the place. The rookies, it's hard to judge who we had from last year's class. But Thornton seems to be the one, like you said, he could be the odd man out because he really has just go routes. He doesn't play special teams. And I liked, when we talked to Demon King last year when he came, I go, I like the kid. He's raw. He has to work on his route running, but he's tall. He has the speed. He could be a good weapon. And I would love for him to pan out with those attributes, but it looks like that unless he has a great, unless he shows out in the preseason games, and the first one was next Thursday, he could be the first one of the first ones to go. Like just on that, like what do you think about that? What Thornton could be like the odd man out, and he could be gone fast. He could be gone quick.
And you know what? I don't disagree with you at all. I honestly think he could be odd man out if he doesn't start to perform better and start to make some strides. Look, the evaluation on talent last year, you really got to take that with a grain of salt. All right, for how plays on his team looked last year. You know, there's a few that get an absolute pass just because of what they've done in the past for us. You know, and then there's some that you're like, did we even get the opportunity to see enough of them because of the coach's decisions? You know, Thornton obviously being one of them. He started so many games or played in so many games, but didn't get a lot of opportunity out there. But when he was out there, he didn't make the best of it either. You know, between drop balls, either not running the right route. You know, there were so many different things that he had that just weren't working out for him last year. You know, whether it was bad offensive blocking, so Gino couldn't get him the ball, because Gino's not really, he's not a bad quarterback. You know, he can, I mean, he had success in Seattle. He had some early success in his career with the Jets. I mean, he's not, I mean, he wouldn't last this long in the league if he wasn't a viable quarterback. Let's face it. He would have been out a long time ago. He's been more of a journeyman, but when he's not getting any help as the quarterback with the protection and the route running and everything, how much can you really blame the quarterback for everything? And you can't. You know, but Thornton is definitely, I think he's odd man out here. You know, I mean, Betch is the one that better step up even more, because you're a second round pick.
Yeah.
You know, your second round picks are expected to be an integral part of this team and contribution. And obviously we didn't see that with him last year either. You know, so I think they're both kind of on a hot seat, but definitely more with Thornton. I think Thornton's really got a battle on his hands here. Especially with Neighbors playing as well as he is. I mean, Benson.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's the same thing with last year when it came to Jacoby Myers. He wasn't getting too many targets. So that's why it's like you said, you gotta take it for what it is. It's hard to judge what we had because a lot of the players were put in situations where they were, you know, they were meant to fail. So now we're gonna see with, hopefully, I'm just saying this because last year I was like, Pete Carroll, he's, you know, coached college and NFL championships and Super Bowl, you know, come on, you know, whatever, competent, you know, so with this coaching staff, with Kubiak, I feel like, and I'm just trying to, you know, keep my excitement low. Just okay. It seems like he's got things under control. He's got the right coaches in, and the right system. You know, we're trying this 12-man, this what is it? The 12 the formation, the two tight ends.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try this again because I feel like that's been a big topic since 2 years ago with Getsy, is the 12-man, that, you know, the formation. But with Kubiak, everywhere he went, his offenses that he's had, they've been successful. And I do have that graphic still. Well, that's his quarterbacks. So wherever he's gone to, he's made everyone, you know, the offense elevate with whoever quarterback it is. And, you know, of course, with their history in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins. So I feel like, and I'm not trying to sound, you know, like we're going to go all the way. 17-0. I'm just trying to be like, okay, we look like we're looking good. We have the right people. Everything is going to work out. I think I have them at 11 wins, but, you know, it's just what I feel. But that's an old graphic. But it's supposed to be this one. That's what I was trying to do. But it looks promising. It's looking promising. And I know they just finished 7 days of camp. I think 2 days of pads. They had today off. So you know, it's looking, it's sounding good. There's no loud music in training camp like it was last year. There's no wrestling around with pads and all that, and it's just strictly business.
How about there's no wrestling with the head coach going out there and trying to tackle the offensive linemen or the defensive tackles? Dude, you're almost 80 years old and you're out there playing, you know, grab ass with it. No wonder Wilkins went off the rails. He's out there trying to play grab ass with his own defensive players. It's like, dude, you're almost 80 years old. What are you doing? You're going to blow a hip out.
I know. It's like the
That shit was annoying last year. I'm sorry. And I was all for Pete Carroll when we first hired him. I was behind him 100%. And then he lost me after the preseason first game. After that, in his press conference, I was done. I knew it was going to be a bad year. I called it, and thank God. Not thank God, I was right.
Well, I was one because I was on the hype. I was on the hype, and I kept saying that Geno Smith, he's going to come in. It's like when the Raiders got Rich Gannon. You got an old veteran who's been around the block, and he's with his coach that believes in him, and we're going to have instant success like we did with Gruden and Gannon. And I was totally wrong on that one. I can admit that I was totally wrong on that one. I was just on my blind Raider hope and hype. The Kool-Aid was strong. The Kool-Aid had tequila in it. It was strong. And after that first game against New England in the rain, and they had it was like 3 touchdowns, whatever. I think there was a couple of interceptions, probably. But I was like, okay. This offense is looking good. And then in Washington, I'm all like, okay, fool's gold. All right.
Can I just add something to what you were just saying, too, about all the quarterbacks that you named in the past and everything? There's one thing here that I think a lot of fans misrepresent or mistaken for what's happening when we bring in an aging quarterback. Because everybody, either whether you're an old school fan that lived the era of Plunkett coming in here and Gannon and all that, you got to look at the situations that the team was in. Back then, the teams just needed a couple of pieces, and that pushed them over the edge was getting that additional, those quarterbacks, whether it was Plunkett or Gannon. And Plunkett wasn't even supposed to be the real deal for us either. He just happened to catch a really good game to come in and finish off, and there was no turning back after that. And then he goes on to win 2 Super Bowls with us. The teams were different. The football product was different back then. It's not the same now. It's a totally different thing. So when you bring in these veteran quarterbacks and you expect them to be the saviors, like I don't expect Kirk Cousins to be the savior. He's going to be serviceable for what we want him for this 1 year. He's going to be here to help teach Mendoza Kubiak's system. I mean, you've seen the numbers that you just put up for Kirk Cousins, how successful he was under those 3 years with Kubiak. I mean, you can't deny those numbers. I mean, some of his best numbers in his career. I mean, look at his passer rating. 107, 105, and 103. And look at the positivity on the TD to interception ratio. Don't even look at the odds. Just the TDs and the passer rating. I mean, it's in all 15 games and 16 and 16. So you're looking at him to do probably close to that if he makes the full season before being replaced for whatever reason. But things are different. Everybody's expecting that we're going to strike fool's gold every time. No, we're going to strike gold every time we bring in an aging quarterback, but it turns out to be fool's gold like last year. Or when we bring in guys like Jimmy Garoppolo, which was the dumbest quarterback move we ever made.
I wasn't for that one.
That was horrible. That was horrible. You let go of Derek Carr, the guy that's been our best quarterback for the last 9 years, and this was your replacement plan because the Brady thing fell through. I mean, come on. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I remember that, and then that goes now to the whole well, he knows the offense, he knows the system, he knows it,
but he's made of glass.
When they brought
He's made of glass, though. That's the
when they try to replace Derek Carr, and I know, like you said, he thought he can bring Brady in to replace Derek Carr. Brady decided to retire. Then McDaniels tried to panic, and then to go back to Carr. Carr said, "No, you already know I'm good." Oh, Jimmy G's been released. Hey, Jimmy G. Hey,
yeah,
I gotta come over here. Me and you back in New England like 10 years prior. You remember the offense, right? You only played like a couple games. Okay, let's go. All right, let's go.
And that's
I wasn't.
It's not like he was super successful as a starting quarterback. And the only reason he was any good in San Fran is because they had a ridiculous defense.
Yeah, and a running game.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, man. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, going back to going back to, going back to like the quarterbacks we brought in. Like, yeah, I remember when they brought in Gannon, Gruden was in his he already did 2 years, no, 90, 97, 98, 99, 97, 98. Okay, 97 was Joe Bugle. 98, he had a Jeff George. Jeff George had the arm, he just didn't have the brain. So Gruden said, okay, you know what, I can't work with you. Gannon became available, even though he got the Chiefs. He got the Chiefs to the playoffs. You know, he was always helping out. You know, he was always getting them, winning them games when he went in. And then when they didn't re-sign him, the Chiefs, he became available. Gruden picked him up. They in '99, they had the 8-8 season, but they ended up beating the Chiefs at the end of that season in Kansas City, and then that started that 3-year run. 2 of that was still under Gruden. But yeah, it was a system that Gruden already kind of installed the year before, and he was just missing that one quarterback that was the same. They had that West Coast system, which was who was the coach then? With the Chiefs. Was that Schottenheimer?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
I was trying to see what the tie was between, because I know Gruden was there with Andy Reid back in Green Bay with Andy Reid and the head coach. He went to Seattle. He looked like a walrus. I can't remember his name right now. Mike Holmgren and Mariucci. They were all under that same staff, so they all kind of ran that same offense. Yeah, when I know we had some high profile names come in at quarterback, like I'm forgetting the name. See, I told you I'm rusty. Kerry Collins came in after Gannon, and I was like, okay, Kerry Collins just came from a Super Bowl loss to the Ravens. So okay, maybe with the Raiders and Randy Moss, maybe. No, he had the slowest delivery. He had the slowest sacked. You know, and then we had other guys like Campbell. Campbell started off pretty good. He started off pretty decent.
I don't think we never gave him enough of a shot.
After he broke it
prior in the supplemental draft.
Yeah, well, after because he hurt his collarbone trying to slide head first. That first home game after Al Davis passed away, he tried to slide head first for a first down, and he broke his collarbone on his throwing side. So that was the last time I seen him. I don't even know if he played it down after that, but that was the last time I heard of him. And then that's when they went and brought in Carson Palmer, and of course, you know, the greatest trade of all time. They brought in Carson Palmer. The offense was decent. The defense was, for all those years, we can never get a decent defense. So those hopes
and
didn't last.
We either had a great offense and a so-so to bad defense, or we had a good defense but not enough power on the offense. So we can never find that perfect balance, you know?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we had that balance during Gruden's tenure. You know, look what we had for weapons on the offense when Gannon was there. I mean, you had Garner in the backfield. You had Tim Brown, Jerry Rice. I mean, you had a
Jerry Porter
line. You had Jerry Porter. I mean, Jesus Christ! I mean, you had a hell of a crew there on the offense. You know, the defense was serviceable. They weren't great, but they were good.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, I think this year right now, how I see our team, I think our defense is going to be up here somewhere, and our offense is going to be more middle of the road if we're lucky. Because the receivers still scare me. The depth at wide receiver and in the surefire, you know, weapons we're going to put out there for wide receiver. That's our weakest on the offense right now.
Yeah, because even Trey Tucker, I know, you know, just like a lot of these guys who's been there for the last couple of years, they've been through so many offensive coordinators, offensive systems, interim offensive coordinators. And so, Trey Tucker, even though he has been, he's going to be the number one receiver, him and Naylor, it still has something to prove. I seem like either no one knows how to use him, or it was just, put in bad situations because he was second behind Jacoby Myers, which I think if it was in hindsight, if we would have kept Myers, I think we would have had a more solidified receiving core with Jacoby Myers and Tucker, and then having a Kubiak knowing how to use those guys, and then you bring in the other guys in, but we don't have that right now. But yeah, a lot of those guys have something to prove. You got a lot of young guys, like you said, Besh and Thornton, and then we got the Benson coming in, who's showing flashes. The real veteran is Naylor, coming from Minnesota. I still remember these things. Yeah, the receiving core. So everything's going to be relying on the offensive line and the running game. And speaking of the offensive line and the running game, that was a good segue.
Perfect. Good job.
That was the other. Thank you. Hold on. Do we have that on here? No, we don't. Oh, we do. Thank you. That is the next that you was talking about was the camp battle with the offensive line. Now, right now, they said that right now in practice, I'm trying to find the graphic. I know I have it up here. Right here. Right, there it goes. This is the projected starters right here. Colton Miller left side, Spencer Burford Burford that they got from the Niners on the left guard. Tyler Lindenbaum, the big signing at center. Jackson Powers Johnson will be at right guard again this year. And then DJ Glaze, who had a rough season last year. His rookie year, he did fairly well coming in off the bench and then keeping that position. Last year, whether it was the offensive line coach, that's why I said one of those things where you can't really judge because of everything that happened last year. So he's kind of like he needs to bounce back. But right now he's slated as a starting right tackle. I know you was talking about DJ Glaze in his first practice with the pads. Tell me about what you heard going on with the starting line as of right now.
I did hear that he was kind of having a difficult time with Max, but I mean, let's face it, it's Max. He's the guy's fast, and I guess he was kind of really burning him, pretty much schooling him. I know Leo. I talked to Leo and Nate, and they pretty much, or Leo said pretty much the same thing, that he was getting the better of Glaze big time. I'm not done. I'm not giving up on Glaze yet. I'm kind of chalking a lot of up last year to the coaching. Because how does him and JPJ regress so bad from the year before to the point where people are questioning if they're even going to be on the team,
Yeah.
Or even not so much be on the team, but be starters, So, again, it is for what it is, who he's going up against. He's going up against Max. And if you're going to practice and you're going to try and learn the position even, better than what you've been taught, going up against a guy like Max will help. Just because Max is not going to overpower you, but just the speed, having to be ready for somebody with that kind of speed that comes off and his get up and go is so quick off the ball. I can already see, and I haven't watched like any type of footage, but I can already see in my head, just visualizing it, watching him burn Glaze play after play in scrimmages, So.
Yeah. And this is, Max Crosby coming off that knee surgery, getting around the corner, against DJ Glaze. Yeah, so DJ Glaze, I'm looking at the depth chart right now. DJ Glaze, you still got Charles Grant, draft pick from last year, and Caleb Rogers. Charles Grant was someone that I had said, I'm haven't played left tackle. Get him in there right now. If we were going to try to get more picks, like I I don't want to say that I wouldn't mind the Raiders trading Colton Miller before the draft, but because Colton Miller, he's what, 30, 31, 30?
Something like that.
I can tell you right now.
30.
30.
He'll be
You know,
31 in October.
and with the injuries that he's had, I'm like, well, hey, let's Charles Grant play left tackle, because that's another thing that I'm worried about when it comes to the offensive line is Colton Miller's ability to stay healthy, because the last 2 seasons he's had significant injuries to where he's had injuries to where it took significant amount of time of him off the field, and you got to throw in somebody. And who did we have last year? We had
what, for Miller?
He came. Yeah, Forsythe. Which he looked good in that first game, and then his first game when he came in for him, and then after that, it just didn't. It didn't work out.
No. Well, I mean, the thing with Miller last year was when he went down, we didn't have a viable backup for him, which is why we had to run out and grab a guy like Forsythe, who had experience in the NFL. I get the move, so that's why I can't necessarily disagree with why we brought him in or who what happened with him. It was short notice. We had to bring somebody in, and now it's still my my main issue with this offensive line this year is, if God forbid, and it's happened already, if Colt Miller goes down this season like he has in the past 1 or 2 seasons, who are we putting in there immediately? And I know it's Grant that's backing him up, but do they have faith in Grant coming in and being able to produce even a fraction of what Miller can do? Miller was just named, I think, what they say, the top 10 or number 10 in offensive or left tackles in the league, or 14 or something like that, when they were grading position players. So now we're going to take a guy that's ranked in the top 15 and we're going to replace him with a guy that's a second-year player. Hasn't had a lot of experience, game time experience, going up against, and if you look at our schedule, going up against the teams we're going to be going up against this year, that's a tough task. It's a tough task for Glaze, too. Glaze is going to go with that funk in his head from last year with how he was treated by the coaching staff. So
yeah,
that's still my biggest worry on the offensive line is, if God forbid something happens to Colton Miller, we live and die by who goes in there and how they perform. Because at least with Colton Miller out there, you're getting with him. Whoever else comes in, and you have no clue.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to Colton Miller, if he can stay healthy throughout the whole season, you got a solid left tackle right there on the blind side.
Oh, hell yeah.
But if he goes down, like you said, who do we have? Who do we have that can step into his shoes and at least be serviceable enough to keep the quarterback clean? I know. Do you hear echo?
No.
Okay, it's probably my side then. I've been hearing from training camp that the only offensive lineman we drafted, Trey Zune, they've been having him everywhere. Yeah. He's been playing both guards. He's been messing with center, and I think they even had him seeing him at tackle here and there. So, I mean, the one offensive lineman that we got is turning heads too in camp.
They drafted him for a reason, and that's because of, we needed another offensive lineman, and he's versatile. He can play multiple positions, which is a great thing to have, because if he's confident or comfortable in any position and something goes down and you've actually got the ability to put him out there, then that's perfect. Yeah, I don't know why my mic is so low. I don't get it. I tried playing around with the systems setups on it. I don't know why it's so bad.
See, like a StreamYard, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, no problem.
StreamYard do all these updates, and this is why I can't stand StreamYard.
I know what I did. I know exactly what I did, because normally I reboot because my computer's been on since this morning. I usually reboot it just before our show, and I didn't reboot tonight.
Okay, well,
that could be it,
because mine has an echo. Don't stay right there. Stay right there. Let me reset me, but the show will still go on. Hold on.
Statically. Oh, hey, everybody. Well, when I get this opportunity, why it's just me here on the screen, make sure anybody that's in my channel, it's pinned at the top in my pinned messages. It's in the description below. Make sure you guys get over to the Cage Match on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications, ring the bell, give them the thumbs up on the show tonight. So make sure you get over to the Cage Match on YouTube. Like I said, the link is in my description and pinned to the top of the messages in the chat.
Testing. Okay, my echo's gone.
Okay.
And your static is gone.
Okay.
You know what? I pay $53 a month for this garbage. Can't stand StreamYard. Okay. So yeah, the offensive line. Sorry, because
you're good.
Yeah.
You're willing.
Hold on, I gotta reload everything that I had on the bottom.
Do I sound better now too, chat?
Yeah, because I heard the static before, and now I don't hear the static. So unless that was on my side, and I'm sabotaging my own show, it is what it is.
Anthony, you're right too. Freaking Nate looked like he had a jersey on that would have fit me. It's like, what's with the big ass jersey Nate was wearing in Vegas today or yesterday?
There you go. See, sounds so much better. Okay, so with the offensive line, I mean, Dennison, he seems, of course, it's gonna be night and day compared to what last year was. But you got a veteran guy. You got a veteran guy coming in who's worked with Kubiak. I think he's went along with him and all the last couple stops that Kubiak's been from. Did they say from Minnesota to the Saints to Seattle, where they won last year? They got a ring this past season. Now to the Raiders. So, but Kubiak, you got the offensive line, the quarterback coach turned offensive coordinator. Janoko. That's the core staff installing this offense, getting this offense together. And this is why I'm trying not to get too excited. Like, okay. We'll see next week, and see what it looks like. But yeah, the offensive line, because I know a lot of folks outside of Lindenbaum, people were like, well, how come we didn't get more offensive? Well, since last year, we didn't sign no offensive lineman. Oh, we got Kappa. We didn't sign no offensive lineman, okay? We didn't sign no offensive lineman. Kappa don't count. So, but I kept saying, like, I feel like, like guys like Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers, who didn't really, they all didn't really get too much playing time, which they should have got more playing time last year. After we knew we were out, we were done. There's no reason to play. Like, there's nothing to play for. Get these guys in there now, see what you have. But I felt like those two guys, with the very, very, very limited time that they had, looked like guys that they can build off of, and get them going for when a Colton Miller decides to retire or whatever. And yeah, like you said, like Jackson Powers Johnson last year, that he was getting mentally screwed over.
Oh God, yeah.
When it came to Pete Carroll and his son, where they kept trying to interchange him with Kappa, and Kappa was no upgrade over, even though he was more, he was a veteran coming from when he went to Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, and then with the Bengals after. It just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. I get, okay, let's move him from center to guard to use his athleticism, when you pull in whatever. But I played offensive line because the offensive line, that's the one position group that you do not interchange unless there's an injury. You do not, they don't go in and out, by formation, that they stay the same.
Yeah,
and when you're
your offensive lineman,
you don't. That's not. If that's what they do now, that's not football. You do not rotate your offensive lineman. So, an offensive lineman, you're in the trenches. You're in a fight every single play, and so that you're using that adrenaline throughout the game that gets you stronger. So when you're someone like and then I know, like, if you get taken out of a game for like one little mistake, that you just coach them out of it, but you take them out the game and put somebody that messes with your head. So now instead of playing like, like playing loose and natural, you're playing stiff and thinking too much, and then that can lead to more mistakes and even injury, because you're not playing fluidly. You're playing not to mess up, which will lead you to mess up. And I felt like that's what he was going through. But I felt like whatever was going on in camp, he was already last year. He was already like in the doghouse when he was trying to come back from his injury in the off season. So I feel like for Jackson Powers Johnson, I don't want to say this is a season where he needs to prove himself again. I know he does want to bounce back and show that he was well capable of being a starter last year, and he wants to show that now with a coaching staff that believes in him. I feel like he would have extra motivation coming in, as long as he doesn't do anything too crazy, because I know he's in that gray area, hitting folks at the tail end of the whistle. I don't want anything to get called back because because the NFL is not like it used to be, back in the day. So I thought it would just probably be the one thing that, okay, Powers, Jackson Powers, JPJ, be aggressive, but be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I look at, I agree with you 100%. The mental aspect. They basically treated JPJ like a yo-yo last year. You're in, you're out, you're competing, you're not competing. This guy's going to take your spot. You're going to move from here. You're going to move. He was just pushed all over the place. He was never given a fair, I feel like a fair shake to really try and establish anything, because you saw such a promising year his rookie year when he finally got the chance to go in there and start, and you saw what him and Glaze did, and you're like, okay, we might have something here with the offensive line. Now you add in Colton Miller to that mix, that seasoned veteran that can help teach these guys too. Like, okay, all right, maybe we got something here, and then you fast forward to 2025 and you're like, what the hell just happened? He makes one comment at the start when he first meets Ashton Genty and says, I'm your center. And that obviously set off Chip Kelly. And he's like, well, the hell you are, and now all of a sudden it's an open competition. And then now he's starting at center at one point, and then Cap is now there, and now he's moved to guard, and then he's on the bench, and you got Putnam starting in front of him, or Parham. It's like, what the hell is going on? You need to set on your five and let them work together, plain and simple. And right now that's the five they have, and that's the five consistently that's been out there for the ones, as far as I've seen. So that's a good thing. That's a lot better than what I saw last year at this point.
Oh, yeah.
We're already starting to mix guys up, and you set your five, and if somebody starts to falter, okay, then you get somebody else that's going to eventually, compete for that position. I hate saying that word because it is different meaning last year. Because
that kind of
damn name, and now it's, and D. McKean just said it too, and I know you said it earlier, bringing up Dennison. That's where I've got my faith right now. Do I have my faith in the players? Not yet, but it's getting there. I have more faith in the fact that Dennison is there now as the offensive line coach. You're not going to buy a guy that's been part of the Kubiak coaching stable for years, with the dad, with Clint. He's won Super Bowls, 4 of them, I believe it is, 4-time winning, offensive line coach on a Super Bowl team. He's an old school guy. Savage, you're not that far behind me in age, but he's the type of guy that reminds me of like my old high school offensive line coach.
Yes.
Like my coach he worked for the electric company. He was a lineman. So he's one of the guys that would climb up the poles or, be up there doing the wide. Old school guy, big ass bear belly, always wore suspenders. And anytime you messed up, guess what? Be ready. Make sure your chin strap's strapped, because he's grabbing you by the face mask and pulling you into him. And that's the type of guy that Dennison comes across to me. Just looking at him, just his demeanor. You know, that old school hard nosed type of coach. And
Yeah.
absolutely, this is what this team needs. You know, they need somebody that's going to get in their face and just fire them up. There was no fire last year. You know, it looks like it's somewhat back this year, you know, and hopefully it gets better as the season goes on. But this was one of the best moves right here. Out of any of the coaches we hired, I think this was the biggest one. This was the biggest need last year. This is the biggest improvement. And now you've got because we've got a young offensive line. The oldest guy out there is Miller. He's the one who's taking the most snaps. And then the second two most guys that have taken snaps on this line is Buford and Linderbaum. Everybody else is second or third year guys or a rookie. You know, this is we're in a youth movement overall. And it's starting with the offensive line as a youth movement too. So we build that 5 nucleus guys, you know, knowing that Colton Miller is going to be moving on soon. So we just need to find that guy that's going to take over for him for the future. You know, this offensive line could be set for a while now.
Yeah.
5.
My offensive line, well, my favorite offensive line coach was from my freshman year. He was the head coach also. He was a PE teacher. He was like this 6'3", you know, big white dude. And when we would do our drills, he'll walk. Well, so you know, we're standing like shoulder to shoulder, the offensive lineman. He'll walk down the line. And he's talking to us. All right, guys. Now, when you get in there, I need you to make sure that you can take a hit. And then we already know what's going to happen because they walk by and out of nowhere, boom, right in the shoulder pads. See, I need you to make so he'll do that to us. You know, you can do that back in the day. You can hit the kid, and it's not malicious, but it's like, hey, be alert.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was tough. If especially because he was the head coach also, he was tough. If he felt like you weren't going 100%, the whole team, line up. Line up. Gassers. And we'll run. And I remember after we lost our first game, it was an out of league game, so it wasn't like within the league. Our first game, we're going against a good school, and we lose like 40-8 or something like that.
Ooh.
40-8. And freshman games on a Thursday. So Friday, our coach was mad. He goes, you know what? We're going to practice tomorrow. Okay. 3:45, right? You guys better be on time. So we get into our locker room, get ready to get dressed. But we weren't going to go practice. It was more of he was going to yell at us. And he screamed at us so loud that his voice started, like, because he was so pissed off. And we ended that day with, you guys got 5 seconds to get out of my locker room, or we're going to go downstairs and we're going to run. I don't care if it gets dark. I would drive my truck down there and put the headlights on so you guys can see. You guys are going to run until I get tired for what I saw yesterday. Get out of my locker room. So we ran. And the next 4 or 5 games, we won with a margin of like 30 plus points because we were too afraid to lose.
He motivated you.
Yeah.
Well, this same coach I was talking about, he used to obviously still, because he would come right from work, so he'd have his work boots on and he'd give you a kick in the ass. I mean, this is the 80s, you know, so we were built different than some of these kids nowadays. You know, you kick a kid in practice now, they're like, oh, we run into their mom and dad, and next thing you know, that guy gets fired. You hurt my son. Hey, give him a kick in the butt. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I coached it 2 years after I graduated, and just like 2 years after my last game played, the kids were a little softer. You can't talk mess to them like they said to us, you know, because they got sensitive. And it was just like I did 2 years and I ended up moving on and whatever. But and the offensive line coach, I mean, your offensive line coach needs to be like that that war general, because you're the ones, the offensive line is gonna be the only, they're the front of the line, or sorry. They are, front line. You know what I'm trying to say. And
Demon King's message post, because they're soft as ice cream now. Yeah, it's true. Horrible. Soft as poo.
But yeah, the offensive line, I mean, and that's what I said. Everyone talks about defense line is nasty and they're mean, but the offensive line, I mean, they have to go against these defensive linemen. Like we had guys like Wisniewski back in the day, who you don't want to mess with. Go even back further, guys like Jamato, guys like Gene Upshaw, guys like Archell, guys like Bob Brown with the thumb. They they talk about all the time. He had a broken thumb for like 4, 5, 6 seasons, and that was his first move, was right underneath your chest plate, knock the wind out of you. When I played offensive guard, because I was a tackle, when I played offensive guard, though, I had to cheat. I had to, because I was smaller, I had to grab the guy by the face mask. I kept everything inside. Outside they can see you. Kept everything inside. I come up, face mask, hold, and then I'll drive. I had to do what I had to do. And I never got a flag. I never got a holding penalty. The one time I should have, a guy beat me inside, and I tackled him. I wrapped around his leg so he won't hit my quarterback. But he got hit by the blind side. So it wasn't me, though. And I didn't get a flag. And I'm holding on to the guy's legs looking for a flag, too, like this. Okay. Barry Sims, the left tackle, was good. That year, going back to the Gruden Gannon years, left tackle Barry Sims, left guard was that Mo Collins or was that a Middleton? I think it was Mo Collins.
Yeah, I think it was Collins.
And then you had Barrett Robbins, rest in peace, and then Mo Collins, rest in peace. Barrett Robbins, rest in peace. Frank Middleton, and then you had Lincoln Kennedy. We had a squad.
Line, man.
Yeah,
a hell of offensive line that year, those seasons.
Yeah, and even recently with like Hudson and Incognito, and Donald Penn, except for that one sack, Donald Penn. Like if you got them guys up in front,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if you got them guys up in front that solidified the offense, they can move down the field, and we haven't had that in the last couple of years since car insurance. Since then, so Dennison coming in, veteran offensive line coach, which I was hoping that we were going to get Tom Cable last year coming in with Pete Carroll. That didn't work out. That didn't happen because we know Tom Cable, as offensive line coach, he knew how to put the right combinations out there. But Kalechi, yeah, those guys. The guard, yeah. So if Dennison comes in and he can build this offensive line, at least we're all just looking to see improvement this year. These guys that you're putting in now, I know this ain't the final roster, and I mean that by maybe in a year or two. He has to go with the guys he's working with, but this roster was basically stripped down after last season. So there's a lot of guys that were picked by this coaching staff. So I have hope, but I'm trying to keep it, at bay right now. I'm trying to keep it at bay.
I'm the same way too. I'm totally optimistic, but I'm not sitting out here going, oh yeah, we're gonna win, 20 games, we're gonna go to the playoffs. I'm keeping my expectations low, 4 to 5 wins, absolute max is what I'm seeing. And anything above that, okay, that's great. I'm not sitting here going, we're gonna win 9 to 10 games or even 11 games, and then when we don't, who am I gonna get mad at?
Yeah, and after last year, I'm all like, okay, you know what? We got the overall pick, quarterback. Let's keep him on the bench. Let's let him learn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind. We already threw away the last 20. Super Bowl is 2002 season. The last 23 years. What's one more to see improvement? And then we'll go, and then we'll try to go hard next year. But I'm in that stage right now where everyone is 0-0, and I'm all like, we got Kirk Cousins could be, a decent veteran. I just want ball control. Ball control. Ashton Genty, after last year, he had great. Well, I don't say great, but he had, for what the offensive line and the offensive philosophy was last year, he put up some very good numbers in his rookie season. So I'm like, okay, with a better offensive line or a more competent offensive line, he can even be better. He can even go off on some big plays. The receivers is a big, they are a big question mark, because all of them have something to prove, including including Trey Tucker. And then we got the tight ends, which you already know what you have with Brock Bowers. He's looking very good in camp.
I was going to bring that up because that's
Yeah.
the one thing we haven't even mentioned was Brock, and you don't even really have to mention him. I mean, we all know what we got with him. Well,
I feel like the sleeper is going to be Michael Mayer. I feel like he's the sleeper, and when they start doing the 12 personnel, they're probably going to have Brock be a little bit more in the slot, and you're going to have Michael Mayer in that actual traditional tight end position. I feel like people are going to forget about him, and he's going to make some plays, a little 4-yard catch in the middle, and then going for like another 10 yards. So I feel like he's the dark horse. He's the sleeper. I might even pick him on my fantasy team. That's how confident I feel going against you. But I was in a transition from there. No. There was a question here that I was going to go to, and I keep forgetting to click on it. Since we're still talking about camp and all that, and who's right here. What is your confidence level? No, that's not that one. We already talked about him. But it was, hold on, it wasn't that one. It was see, I'm Asylum's usually the comment guy. I'm the one that puts up the graphics and the videos. So I apologize for those who put comments up and I haven't put it up there. That's usually an Asylum job. There was a question. It basically was who was your risers in camp? Who's standing out basically from what you've heard so far in camp?
I heard Stooks is making some noise. Like I said earlier, Malik Benson sounds like he's making some waves in there. Lobby's, I think the other thing with Dylan Lobby, he knows he's on the bubble, but I think he's a little more solidified right now because they did cut Collier, or they waived him the other day. Lobby, I want to see him contribute besides just special teams, but it's going to be a pretty busy backfield, I think. There
it is.
You got Washington, you got Hemby back there, you're going to have Lobby in there, obviously Genty. I think who's the other one too? There was it was on the defense too. I guess Porter seems like he's making waves again too.
It's I've heard who's looking good is Richardson.
Yeah.
Richardson in his third season. I
think it's his third, yeah.
Yeah, I know he had the hamstring injuries coming in.
The rookie from Auburn we brought in.
Yeah.
I know I said this last year based on what we brought in before the preseason or training camp started, that we had a potential to have quite a few starters out of that draft last year. Not knowing what the coaches were going to do with him, that was furthest from the truth. This year, I think we could have, especially on the defensive side, because it seems like, McCoy's actually having a hell of a camp too, supposedly. He's actually doing pretty good. I think we've got a potential to have a few of these rookie secondary guys, corners, safeties, or whatever, really have an impact on this roster, unlike last year. You're going to have Mendoza's going to sit. He's going to come in at the absolute perfect time this season if he even touches the field. You're talking about your the Keyshawn Crawford type guys. He's going to be rotational. He's not going to be a starter, but he's going to be an integral part of this roster. Stooks the same way. McCoy the same way. McCoy, I absolutely love that pick for when we got him, especially. I mean, again, it's a low risk, extremely high reward if this kid comes back extremely healthy. Stooks is in that mix. Trey Zoon is going to be a spot player at some point.
Oh
this
yeah,
season.
yeah.
Mike Washington, you already know, is going to be the second guy behind Genty. He's going to be that change of pace back. That thunder and lightning type punch. Zeke Masses, he's making some noise out there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Dalton Johnson, I don't know enough about him if he is or not. I've heard better things about him. But it's just and the fact that Malik Benson is looking like he's actually going to be stepping up this year too. That's huge. And you're talking about a 6th-round pick. That's big. That's big. I mean, you look through this list right here, and I mean, you've got a guy in McCoy, a 4th-round pick that could move in if he plays like he did the last season in college that he fully played, and we get that guy out there on the field. Yeah, hello, lights out. I mean, the kid has got talent. The kid is good. This is a pretty damn good draft, I think. Again, it's going to take a couple of years to fully grade them, but just the potential alone and how they're already in the mix as much as they are, all these guys. That's big.
Yeah.
Tassi's not Lucky Tassi. Tonka is making some noise out there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Though I was surprised that they let go of Lucky Tassi. I know he was a long shot, international player and all that. But I thought, if he's not going to play offensive, they know he was a D tackle. They try to put him at guard. Then they try to bring him back. I'm like, put him at nose. Have him learn nose. That's But I get it. He's a project, and he's a project player. International. So if they're going to have somebody else more valuable in that roster spot right now, then you do what you got to do. So I get it. This is why I only wear jerseys from players that's already made their legacies, like Jack Tatum and Alzado and
so you don't panic, I'll put this one on. That better. My 401 Raider hats.
So let's go into Max Crosby. Now, Max Crosby had the injury, it sidelined him. But I know you want to talk about how he is looking like he never had the injury. I mean, you see him right there in practice. There's no knee brace. There's not even like a sleeve. A compression sleeve. He's out there moving. I know he has extra motivation because of what happened this offseason. But, I mean, I feel like he's going to be on a tear. And I've seen a video of Hendrickson in Baltimore. He either looks stiff or he just, I don't know. So, seeing that video and then seeing, how Max did wrong and then seeing that video and all that Max has more motivation. But you see right here, like he's just running. There's no favoring anything, like in his knee. He looks fluid. He looks like he's never been injured. What is your take on how he looks right now so far?
I mean, right now he looks good. There's 2 players in this team that should be in bubble wrap between now until the season starts, and it's him and Colton Miller. These 2 guys need to be in bubble wrap so that they don't go out there during preseason and get hurt. Because right now Crosby looks good. It looks like the Crosby we're used to. He's got the speed off the snap. The video last week that I saw of him with the tackling bags and everything, how he's making the cuts and such. It's the vintage Max that we've always seen. Now, so he obviously looks like the knee's back to where it should be. Again, that's in practice under more stressful conditions, because guys can go easy on you when you're in practice. Okay. They know who they can push and who they can't, and you don't want to be the guy that goes down as the guy that knocked Max out for the season, on your own team.
Yeah.
When it comes to preseason, I don't think he needs to play at all, if any. If you want to let him play for one series, that's great. Then get him out and seal him up in bubble wrap until week one. When he actually gets into a full-fledged NFL game against an opposing team, that's where we're going to see, make sure that he's 100% here and there's no issues. Because, again, training camp, you don't want to be that guy. So just like you don't want to be the guy that hits the quarterback and knocks him down and potentially injures him, like, hey, I got in here. Well, you weren't supposed to touch that jersey, dumbass.
Yeah. And exactly what you're saying. Because right now, yeah, he looks good running, sprinting, whatever. But in a more stressful environment, like when you're going against that left tackle and you're trying to push off your force with that, with their force. So you're trying to use your 240-pound frame against someone who's like 300 and something. So that force on that knee in the grass, and then double team. So sometimes he's trying to push against two players, about 600 plus pounds. So right now, yeah, he looks good, and that's promising, but until he, we go through like a scrimmage. I think they're gonna scrimmage they're gonna scrimmage the Texans. I think right before that game, I believe that's scheduled. So they're gonna do a scrimmage against them before they play the actual preseason game. But until he does, like you said, someone going full speed on him, and not someone on their own team, that accidentally did something where his knee gets twisted in the pile. And oops, like kind of like last year with Lonnie Johnson. He was going to be our if not our starting safety. They were saying they were going to use him in special defensive formations back there, and he ends up getting his he broke his leg. I think like in a I didn't see it. I don't know. I was during the public practice, but he ended up breaking his leg or fracturing his leg in that practice. I think against another player. And you don't want to be that one guy that accidentally, out for the season. So, but yeah, he looks good, and it's looking promising. No. He's not out there aided by a bandage or a brace. So,
yeah, he doesn't look hobbled. I mean, since training camp started, he's been out there. So he was there day one with the rookies. So he's been there for over a full week already.
Yeah, and he's extra hype because he was doing all that rehabbing going into, from the offseason, coming off this last season, throughout the whole offseason after he got his knee surgery. So he's been doing, his rehabbing, and now it's kind of like he's free to be out there with his teammates. I know it was killing him having to be on the sideline and watching everything. So now that he can participate physically and being out there, that's like that. That's like that talking about high school football. You hated summer practices, and it wasn't until you went against somebody else, and then now you're all excited, and now your adrenaline's running 1,000%, and you're like super just like so I know that's Max Crosby right now coming in, and you get to put the pads on and going against actually going out there and participating in the practice. So it looks good right now. We'll see how they use him in the preseason. If they do, he doesn't need to go out there. He's already proven, like you said, keep him on the sideline. Don't even dress him up because he's going to sneak out there. Just keep him on the sideline with a headset. Yeah, just being next to defensive coordinator Rob Leonard. Just being next to Rob Leonard. And just just listen to the plays and then see who's doing what and whatever. So yeah, just do that. Just that's as much action I need you to have in the preseason. And right now, just take it easy, my friend.
You got to protect your assets. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to. You know, that's why Mendoza should be out there starting in preseason, not Kirk Cousins. You know, obviously give Cousins at least one start. You know, get him some actual game time system. You know, playing. You know, Brock Bowers. Some of these guys, they shouldn't even be playing. You know, if they do, it's very, very limited. You know, just to work on the timing and such in game time conditions. But I've never been a big fan of your starters playing the whole training camp preseason. It's just you see it every year. Somebody goes down in training or in preseason, and for what reason? You already know they're the star of the team. You know, why are you going to jeopardize your season? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, like
Brock
the
Bowers. We know what Brock Bowers can do. Does he need to be out there every preseason game? Hell no.
no.
No. That's where Michael Mann needs to be out there, and Ian Thomas and anyone else that's in the tight end room. They need to be out there.
Yeah.
They need to, it's the time for these rookies and these guys, these bubble guys, to get as much time as possible to get stuff on film. So when you do let them go, they can possibly get picked up by somewhere else too. Your preseason for these bubble guys is an interview for another team. That's what it is.
Well, let me ask you this then. Let's say like the quarterbacks. I believe if Kirk Cousins does play a down in the preseason, it'll be like 1 or 2 downs, and then they'll probably throw in Aiden O'Connell to kind of finish off. Let's say game one. Let's say game one. Aiden O'Connell to kind of finish off. Let's say the first quarter, or the first half, well, maybe the first quarter, and then you see Fernando Mendoza. And then the next game, I would say they start with Aiden O'Connell, and then Fernando Mendoza plays a second quarter on throughout. Maybe the last one, you start Fernando Mendoza and see what he does again with the starting offensive lineman, and then finish off with Aiden O'Connell. I don't know. How do you think the Raiders should do their rotation when it comes to playing time in the preseason with the quarterbacks?
I think Kirk Cousins should start the first game at least. If you want to give him the full first quarter so he works on the timing and such with the ones, okay. After that, out. Then I would go with AOC 12. I would probably go second and third quarter with him and let Fernando finish the game. All right. The next game, you started with Aiden O'Connell, let him play the first quarter. Mendoza the second and the third. In the fourth quarter, you get that rookie that we drafted, Jacob Clark. Get him some time.
Oh,
You're gonna see what you got with him. And the last game should be Mendoza pretty much, if you want to give him just the first half or 3 quarters and then put the Jacob Clark out there to finish off the game, then go from there. Mendoza needs the majority of the play time, is my feeling. It's the only chance that he's actually going to get this season based on how it's set up in order for him to get on the field. It's the only time you're going to see any significant play time as of right now, based on what the coaches have said, Tom Brady, everybody's saying the right thing. I'm starting to worry about Mendoza after what I've been hearing from training camp the last 2 days with pads. What have you been hearing? I know he came out himself and he said he's not ready.
Yeah, I heard that one. I know they were I think it was two days ago. So no, I think it was like Sunday practice. He didn't look all that well. Like I don't know if it was just his throws are off or whatever, because I'm trying to go off of what they say on the radio, on the Raider Nation radio, them covering it. But I heard that one practice he didn't look all that great, but he came back the next practice and he looked much better. And I think it was the first day of padded practice. So, but see that's a reason why. Okay, let's just keep him learning. Don't need to rush him out there. Let Kirk Cousins just carry the offense, and you learn from there. And then when it's time to put you out there, you'll have a little bit more confidence, to go because he also is still trying to learn how to go from under center, right? He's still trying to like get that down confidently. So,
well, and normally something in the chat doesn't stop me dead in my tracks. That coming from Silver Smoke stopped me because I know he's a huge Mendoza supporter. He was all in on him since the end of the after the national championship, and we knew we had the #1 pick. He was completely all in on him. So for him to sit there and say that, now I'm starting to think, all right, well, if he sees this and he's such a huge supporter of Mendoza and being an Indianapolis Indiana Hoosier fan and followed him for so many years and knows Mendoza as far as watching him on a consistent basis in Indiana, that starts making me think now, well, if he sees something that makes him worried or is hearing things that make him worried, what is the real deal here? I mean, are they not coming out and just saying it? Or, I mean, but there's so much that he said in the last few messages he's posted in here about his footwork being sloppy. They're also saying he's looking scared, that he only looked good or okay in 7-on-7s. And you're right, he is a rookie, but he says it does worry him. So, like I said, for him to come out and say that surprised me.
Yeah, and I heard like he had, like I said, his practice. I think it was the first practice in pads. It didn't look all that great, but that he came back looking better the following day. But and it just goes to, okay, well, this is why let's not rush him out there right away. But I know folks are saying, because I would always hear this argument just in general with the first past first round draft picks, not overall, but just past first round draft picks. Well, he was the first person picked for us. How come he's not out there doing this? How come he's not out there doing that? I know they would say that they had said that about Tyree Wilson, who's no longer with the Raiders, but he had that foot injury. He got rushed out there because of Chandler and him going off the rails. But let's just let him get his development. Let him make all these mistakes now in training camp. Get it all out the way so they know, okay, we got to work on this. That quarterback room is pretty tight right now. Kirk Cousins, Mendoza, Aiden O'Connell, and then Jacob Clark. So they're pretty tight right now. They can, work things, whatever. Just, I don't want negativity, kid. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I'm trying to hold the excitement. I'm trying to stay in the middle. Okay. I'm trying to stay in the middle.
No, I get Silver Smoke, but like I said, not a lot of things stop me dead in my tracks when I read something in the chat, and that it hit me. Coming from you, it means more because like I said, I know how much of a staunch supporter of him you were. So, what's up with that?
So, with that though, going back to Max Crosby, I'm gonna play a video that we play when Max Crosby, says something that's important. Call it Max Facts here on the show, if you're new to the show. So I'm going to play this video, and then I'm going to have a follow-up question on that. So here we go.
Look, man, we're just going to jump right into it because I don't believe that there are any cosmic accidents. Like, there's nothing that happens in this universe that's an accident. So, the off-season was a little bit different than you've probably had in the past. What have you learned from it? What did you take away from it that has kind of made you say, oh yeah, this is going to be positive no matter what?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. I believe everything happens for a reason, and things, sometimes the storm comes to clear the way, and when you're in it, you can't really see that, but once you change that perspective and realize, like, I'm living my dream, what I mean, since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I wanted to do since I can remember. So there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be a lot of craziness, and also I love having my back against the wall. Like, I love when people doubt me. That's my story. I'm a 2-star recruit. Like, I had to beg for teams to give me a damn offer, right. And now it's like it's the opposite, and I think that's cool. And ultimately, like, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in life,
right.
And when you worry about tomorrow and you worry about yesterday, you're not present. And my biggest focus is being present and being the best leader and player I can be. In this league, you need a great quarterback to win and compete. And Fernando's going to be that guy at some point, and I want to see him succeed. I want this organization to succeed. I'm a Raider to the core, and I want to win more than anything. So it's going to take all of us, not just myself. It's everyone. It's all three levels.
So you heard that, right? You heard that. He said, I'm a Raider to the core. You know, I want to see this team grow with Mendoza. I want to see him succeed. I bring this up because I keep hearing, no matter what happens, no matter what is said every year. I mean, Max Crosby signs a new contract. Trade. Max Crosby does something else with his contract.
Guilty.
Trade.
Guilty.
Max Crosby gets traded, comes back to the Raiders, says, I'm going to be a Raider. Trade. Right now, it's Jerry Jones and the Cowboys seem to be the one causing smoke. Now, does that smoke have fire? I don't know. But why can't people just let it go?
Good question. I think the way I look at it and the way I've explained it when we brought it up on all the shows that I'm on, Max Crosby is not part of the long-term solution for this team. We got to face that. He's not going to be here unless we have a miracle turnaround in the next 2 seasons. He's not here long-term to be part of what they're ultimately trying to build here. They're trying to build the future of this organization with what they've done in the draft this year, what they've done in free agency, to instill that, you know, the Raider way back, basically, you know, to bring back the, how do I even want to use the words? I'm trying to, I'm at a loss for words on this. Either way, he's not part of the long-term solution. All right. It's guys like Genti, Mendoza, Malik Benson, Betch, JPJ, Bowers. You know, these are the guys that are going to be here for hopefully 8 to 9 to 10 years from now. You know, that will have been part of what they're building going forward and being extremely successful, possibly winning Super Bowls, better be winning Super Bowls, you know, putting a product on the field that we can all be proud of. We haven't been proud for a long time in the fan base.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things that's missing. You know, so that's how I look at it with Max. Like this past, when we had traded him, we were getting 2 first-round picks. So that was going to give us the 1st and the 14th. And what we could have done with that 14th could have changed the whole image of this roster, to be honest with you. We could have done so much with that number 14. And we would have had the first pick in 2027. Who knows what that would have been? You know, I think there are a lot of people that were done with Max prior to this past offseason. I wanted to trade him in 2025 before the draft because I wanted to get better value picks that we can plug in right away. We weren't going anywhere. We already knew that. But I wanted to build for the future, just like I wanted to do this year with trading him. Would have been a perfect way for us to get that. We could have gone for a top left tackle. We could have gone for one of these younger linebackers or defensive ends early in this draft. You know, with that, we could have moved back from number 14, collected a couple extra picks, and made some moves. You know, that's what I was looking at. But now that he's back, I hope it all becomes what it's supposed to be for him, meaning I want to see more consistency with the sacks. You know, I know he always leads the league in QB pressures and everything, but I want to see the sack total go up because that's the end of the play. You can pressure the quarterback all you want, but if he still completes the pass, that pressure doesn't mean crap.
Yeah.
You know? The sack ends the play. Done. Whistle blown, plays dead. You know, tackles for loss in the backfield of a running back. Okay, that's impressive. I like that. But you expect more from a guy that's supposed to be an elite edge rusher, you know, as far as going after the quarterback. That's your job. Your job is to terrorize the quarterback and to stop him before he can get a pass off. You know, QB pressures is beautiful. I love it. It's great. But again, Mahomes, how many times has he been pressured by Max and still get the pass off for either a first down on like 4th and long or a touchdown?
Yeah.
How often does that happen? Pretty much almost every game.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Can it happen this year with this defense? Can he have more of an impact based on the talent surrounding him? This is the most talented on paper right now. This defense has been around him. This is the most talent that's been on his side with him. I mean, he left to go to Baltimore, and in the time that he was there and before he came back, this defense changed. And he's probably sitting in Baltimore before they reneged on everything and said, holy crap, they got a brand new defense over there, and I'm sitting over here in Baltimore. I mean, seriously, you look at what they brought in. They brought in Linderbaum, but then you go to the defense, they bring in Kwity Paye, they bring in Walker, they bring in N'Kobe, they bring in Taron Johnson, Stokes they re-signed, Jalen Naylor, Malcolm Coots they re-signed, the Olubi, well, that was a free agent. I mean, just the defense alone, what they brought in while he was gone, he's like, this is way better guys, talent-wise, and younger than what I had with me last year. Last year looked like the linebacker core that Pete Carroll brought in last year was disgusting. So he's building, they're building this defense, and he just adds to it coming back. But for the short term, again, he's not going to be here long. What are we going to do when his contract's up? When we could get something for him now versus he decides, no, I'm going to test the market because this team's still not going to be where I need it to be before I get one more shot at making some money.
And that's why I brought up, I know it's an old graphic, but you're talking about what we were getting when we sent him to Baltimore. Like you said, the 14th overall pick this year, this past draft, and then we, whatever the Ravens land next year, we will get that first round. And then the important part is the money that the Raiders would have saved, because, like you said, they could have got, a high-priced a left tackle or another offensive lineman or somebody else, So that when he was sent to Baltimore, that solidified that, okay, the bad word that the Raiders and all the coaches never wanted to say, that we are officially rebuilding because we gave up our face of the franchise 4 picks to try to build something from scratch, from the ground up, and return to sender. We got him back. But like you said, when he was gone for that weekend, he comes back to a whole new defense, young guys, young proven guys from playoff teams, and
Super Bowl winning teams too on top of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, how Rob Leonard and the staff builds this team. I know they're going to go to a 3-4, which is a nose guard. I mean, when it comes to the defense, are you with the young guys coming in, and now you got a first-time defensive coordinator with Rob Leonard being the defensive line coach for the Raiders the couple 4 seasons when he under Patrick Graham. Are you, when it comes to the defensive scheme and the play calling in certain situations, how do you feel about Rob Leonard with this young squad going into this season?
He's got the experience, obviously. But this is his first time as a DC, so he is a rookie. I think him moving into this position now with all these young guys coming in is kind of a bonus in a way, because they're going to grow right along with him, so he's going to come, they're going to come up through the organization with him as he grows as a defensive coordinator, provided everything goes well and he gets to stick around. But that Leonard is also part of everything that's new about this team right now. You look across the coaching board, it's all new. We've got very few holdovers from last season, him being one of them, but he takes a step up and goes to a defensive coordinator. You've got a head coach that's never been a head coach before. You got an offensive coordinator for the first time. You know, you got this line of first coming through here. You've got all these rookies. You got this whole new influx of free agents. So it's going to be a lot to put this together. But what I heard from Leo and from other people that were at the practice, what they're seeing is it looks like they are going to be running like some sort of like a 3-4 hybrid. It's not going to be strictly 3-4 the whole time, but they were doing a lot of moving guys around consistently. Like, you know, they had Quiddy bouncing left to right throughout. So there was no, it was total confusion is what it was trying to do. So it's actually putting the offensive line and the quarterback to the test as far as what they're seeing for a front coming up to them on the line. So they're moving pieces around. Max moving from side to side and into the middle and moving around. That's not a good thing for offenses because you don't know where he's going to line up every time. You know, that's a huge change. Quiddy Pay being moved around like that too. You know, that's another issue. You know, I'm not saying that Quiddy's the same caliber of Max, but he's close. He's not too far behind him. You know, he's stronger. He's definitely the two different style physiques. You know, and that's the one thing that I think that's always bothered me with Max is he touts all this time of being in the gym. I'm always in the gym, always in the gym. Well, what's he doing? Just looking in the mirror because it doesn't look like he's put any muscle on since he's been in this on this roster, right? Seriously,
Yeah.
You look at him sitting in that interview with his shirt off. He doesn't look any more muscle on his body than what he did when he first got here. Maybe a little bit, but nothing drastic. Then you see him stand next to somebody like Quiddy Pay or Walker or Dean, and you see these guys and they're jacked. Like Crawford, even Crawford, he's jacked. I mean, these guys they've got the build, so he doesn't have that strength and power. He's got the speed and finesse. Like Myles Garrett is a beast. Like there's nobody on the same level as Myles Garrett in this league. Nobody. Myles Garrett is way up here. You know, you just look at him. He's a physical specimen. Max is not that. You know, Max cannot take over a game consistently like Myles Garrett can. That's the difference. I'm not a hater, Bueno. Shut up. You know, I just like to get value for a player when we can, when we know the player doesn't have much value for us in the near future. That's how I look at it. You know, and if it means we get something for him now, rather than nothing when he walks away because he's a free agent and he doesn't want to be here because we're not there yet, then what good are we doing? You know?
Yeah, and I mean, there's still the other option of the trade deadline in November, right? November, like first week of November. If the Raiders don't want to put no bad juju out there, if the Raiders don't look as good in this first year, do you see the Raiders moving him? Because I think that's where everyone's kind of looking at is that trade deadline, because he's saying all the right things now, stuff that he didn't want to say in the offseason. Max Crosby, oh, you a Raider? Oh, I'm here in the gym. I'm here. I'm at the facility. I'm rehabbing. Okay, but are you a Raider? I'm here. I'm here physically in the building, but now I'm a Raider. Yeah. I gotta get my soundboard back. I'm here. So now I'm a Raider to the core. I want to be here. I want to see this thing grow. But do you because Max Crosby's never really shown. Max Crosby's never like a Devontae Adams, you could tell checked out. Okay, whatever.
Oh, God,
like Max Crosby's never shown. He's shown frustration. He's shown frustration.
You never seen him just give up. That's not.
Yeah.
Him. He can look dejected, you know, or look like this is getting ridiculous, you know. But he's not going to give that look like he's unhappy here. You know?
Yeah.
But as far as something by the trade deadline, look, the phone rings. You got to listen. You got to pick it up.
Of course.
You got to listen to all offers. You have to. If you don't, then as a GM, you're not doing your job. Plain and simple. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's an offer that's too good to pass up, then you got to do it. Look at how many people said, "Oh, Max ain't going anywhere. He's not going anywhere." And I was over here pounding the table. We need to trade him before the draft. Blah blah blah. Let's do it. And everybody's like, "Nah, he's not going. He's a Raider for life. Raider for life." Bam. all of a sudden the report comes out. Max has been traded. I'm like, what? And that was on a Friday night, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
I was on live, and Jason Downs came in my chat. Actually, he jumped on the show because he's in my StreamYard with me. And he got on with me, and he said, listen, he goes, there's breaking news. I said, what? He goes, Max just got traded. I'm like, what? So I was live when that happened. And coincidentally, the funny thing is, I was live when the trade got denied, or when they rescinded it. I was live I think it was Monday or Tuesday when that came out.
It was a Monday.
It was Monday. I was live on a show, and I broke that one too. You know, yeah, and a lot of people didn't stop following me because I was so big on wanting to trade Max, and it's like, listen, fans have to stop being married to players. You got to understand it's a business, and if it helps the business going forward, i.e., the team and the roster, then you got to do what you got to do for players. No player, as everybody says, is above the shield. Plain and simple. So every player, they have a price. They have a price that if somebody comes a knocking and they're offering for them, you know they've already got a note written down somewhere that if someone calls and this is what they're offering for Max, this is what we expect. You know that there's already something in play. Like they've already got an idea on what they're expecting if the trade comes through a Max. So if we're sucking by the end of October into early November before the trade deadline, and a team that's on the cusp and all they need is a guy like him, and they call up and they offer something that's so good, you can say goodbye to Max. I wouldn't be surprised. If it's for draft picks for next season, oh, hell yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Max doubled down when I asked him, coming back to the Raiders and after the whole thing.
Max, a quick turnaround, coming back to Vegas. What does the city mean to you now after everything you've been through this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I love the city. Ever since I've been out here, it's been incredible. Las Vegas is the greatest city in the world, in my opinion. I've been in a lot of places, and they've always had my back. And it's not just Vegas; it's Oakland, it's LA, it's Raider Nation runs deep. It's all over the world. So all the fans supported me. I appreciate it, and everybody that shows up. We want all the fans to fill that Allegiant Stadium with silver and black. You know what I mean? Not all the other colors. And
so he's never going to go, Jeff. He's never going to. I'm just joking. I don't know. I'm just like, if you're going to do it, just do it, Kim. I'm sick and tired of hearing this. I'm surprised Kay Adams didn't jump all over this again. Oh my God, I just want him to go play somewhere where he can have fun and he can make new friends and they can totally have pizza together. And it's going to be so great. Like, oh my God.
Oh God, she annoys the hell out of me. The funny thing is, I used to like her when she was on Good Morning Football. She was fine on that because she was like the eye candy on the show, and she was cool. But then when she left that show, then she kind of fell off the face of the earth. And then she comes back like a freaking tornado with the crap that she's been pulling. It's like, oh my God, I'm done with you now. God, once she left the show, I just didn't care about her anymore. So.
Yeah.
Jamie Erdahl anyway. Jamie Erdahl's cute as hell. I love her.
I don't have nothing for her, but that's why we had this segment. I'm waiting for it to load. But yeah, because it just when she got her own show, and it just seemed like, and it started off mainly with Devontae Adams. And then, Devontae, oh my God, we got the same last name. This average, okay, yeah. Hey, you know what? I just wish you can have fun and catch balls and make touchdowns. And the Raiders are not your friend. And then he ends up getting traded. And then she was trying to turn to Max Crosby. Okay, yeah, I just want him to have fun and totally be great. And I don't know. And everyone's calling me Jezebel, and everyone's calling me this, and everyone's calling me that. But I'm just saying, I just want the players to have fun. That's why I came up with this.
And atom.
Up and at them.
Up and atom.
Up and at them.
Up and atom.
Up and at them.
You're muted. We both were. Nope.
Unmute.
No,
okay.
There you go.
See, stupid StreamYard. Like I said, this is what we do on the show. We come up with some crazy, and I'm getting the rust off. We do the show every Wednesday, and I haven't done the show about 2 months now. 2 months now. I got
what the schedule.
Because the schedule came out after the draft, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I think it was, we did the schedule and then we had Miss Peggy react to the schedule, and I think that was our last show. And because I had gotten a new job then. I just came off a disability, so I had a new job then, and the hours that they had me, it was all over the place, and I get home and I was way too tired, and Asylum with his job, he was doing extra hours, and it was just hard for us to go and try and put a show together each week. And then because in the off season, and I know you know about this, Jeff, when in the off season you have to dig for stories because you don't want to sound like everybody else. And so Max Crosby is still being talked about when it comes to being traded. Oh, and the Raiders have Mendoza, and Mendoza, he could be this, and also Kirk Cousins. But then the Raiders, you could have had, and it's like you try to dig deeper and find other relevant stories.
Yep.
So your show can stand out. So I know you know about that, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because it's a lot of research, So because it was so quiet, it's okay. It's a good time to take a break after 3 years. And then I was doing live shows, which I have a video on that one real quick. But before we move on towards the final segments of the show, I know your last thing that you had on the notes for me to study and get back in the groove of things was this possible transaction. Possible.
Yes.
He's still being played. He's still in play because I saw today that he and the Buccaneers are at a stalemate right now. Talks have stalled. So what do you think? Or let me start over. Hearing this story, what's your take on the possibilities, not saying possibilities of, because he wants to go on the West Coast. He wants to be either be in California or in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because he requested a trade. I want to go over there. And the possible teams, of course, the Niners, the Rams, the Chargers, and then us in Vegas. 4.
Yes.
I don't think he wants to go to Arizona. So the 4 right there. So what is your take on Vita Vea? Vita Benjamin?
Yeah. Benjamin.
31 years old. And I watched one of your shows. I think it was I'm bad with names. The I know his name too. The youngest one.
Nate. LV rated 10, yeah.
Yes. I like him. That dude's cool. He has a lot of good takes. And I'm all like, but you like he has a lot of good takes, and I feel sorry because he wasn't really around or old enough to really like be live watching the 3 years with the 2001, 2002. He seems like he's too young.
Yeah, he's 20.
Like he looks.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he was like 1,
like 3 years old or 2 years old.
Yeah, so he hasn't really seen. I mean, I haven't really seen either. I haven't seen a Raider Super Bowl win. I seen a Super Bowl and they lost to the Buccaneers. I was senior year. I was 17 years old, senior year in high school, and yeah, that ruined my whole life. After that, here we are. But A lot of good takes. So shouts out to Nate. But I remember he said something like, I think it was him that said, I will give up maybe Butler for him. But I don't want to give up draft capital. So, and I'm listening. I'm on it. You know what? That makes sense for an aging guy. I'm not aging, but 31 years old on the defensive line. You know, yeah, he could be a force right away. But he's like a guy that you try to get when you're trying to win now. Now I would get him to make sure the Chargers. You know, I would try to block the Chargers to get him, but then it's all like, okay, well, what are you willing to pay to block the Chargers from trying to get him in our division? So, your take.
The second he said he wanted out, I'd be calling and saying, "What do you want for him?" I still would right now too. Yes, I know he's 31, but he plays a position where longevity is usually not an issue. I mean, you look at the age of some defensive linemen. All right, look at Jenkins, how long he was with us. He was what, 38, 39 when he finally called it quits.
I think it was like 37. Then he played one more year with the Ravens, and then I think now he's.
And then what's his name from the Saints?
I know you're talking about. He decided to play one more year this year. He's like 18 years in, I think.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you've got guys that have played in that position well into their late 30s, you know. So that's it, Jordan. Look, this defense already looks like it's going to be way better than what it was last year. You add a guy like him, okay, to that middle, playing alongside Butler, and with the rotation that we're going to have on the defensive tackle line, along with the edge rushers, the linebackers, you're talking about holding offenses now. What's up, Manuel? Holding offenses to even less points, which then puts less. So by grabbing him helps you in that aspect as far as stopping offenses and not letting them score additional points. There in turn also puts less pressure on your offense to have to come up and score even more points. You know what I'm saying? So if you can hold a team to on average between 14 and 21 points, you're only looking at 3+ touchdowns or 3 touchdowns and a field goal from out of your offense and special teams. All right. You're not having a team where, you know, our defense is giving up 27 to 30 points consistently every goddamn week. And now you have offense that you already know is shaky to begin with before we even start. Right now we're shaky. We really are. We're not 100% yet. We're not there. You know, yet that's asking a lot to have to put up 30+ points or 27+ points every week. So there's two sides to this. One, it helps the defense, and two, it does help the offense, believe it or not. It's a case where the defense can set them up with better field position every time, especially if they get into the quarterback or they're stopping them on 4th downs and we get the ball at like the 50-yard line instead because they decided to go for it. You know, it sets our offense up for a better situation. This guy is nasty. He's a hell of a player. You know, does it matter how, you know, and I know his stats and everything. There's stats that you can't measure what this guy can do, basically. And I think Jason Downs the best way, too, is he's got stats that aren't measurable. And that's the amount of blocks that he can eat up, the holes he can plug for the running game. It's that stuff that you can't put a statistical number to it. It's things that you have to see with your own eyes and realize how much of an impact he makes on a front line. Draft picks, I wouldn't want to give up anything more than a 4th rounder. But I would probably have to include a player in that in order to pull that off. You know, could we do like a Booker for him? Or
I like Booker though.
I do too.
But I know he'd be a young talent that. Yeah.
Could it be a Michael Mayer situation and a 4th rounder for him? You know, could it be Aiden O'Connell in a 4th rounder for him? You know, there's so many things you could do. I know. I still think Aiden O'Connell I still think he doesn't have enough. He hasn't had enough shots. And this is it. If you're married to a player or you like a player too much, you got to learn to pot with some of these guys. It happens. How do you think San Francisco felt, or Raider fans felt, when we let Marcus Allen leave us? That crushed us. It took me years to forgive Marcus Allen for going to the Chiefs of all teams. That burned me for a long time. The only player that left us to go to a team that we really weren't crazy about, that didn't bother me, was Tim Brown when he went to Tampa Bay for that 1 year. That didn't bother me because he had been with us for so long. I knew he was going to follow Gruden down there. We weren't going to pay him the money because he was an aging wide receiver. That Marcus Allen left at pretty much the height of his career. Went on to go to KC and burned us almost every time he played us. Those are the tough ones. So you got to let guys go. You have to. Again, I'll go back to, it's a business. If he increases or helps your team with a better chance to win, then you go for it. I'm all for it. I'm 100% all in on it. We could trade Mendoza for him.
If they trade Mendoza, hypothetically speaking, we should come back with a first rounder for that one.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm just kidding, but I wouldn't trade Max for him. No,
because there'll be no, it's like, then what's the point then? Because he's here to help the defense,
Exactly.
I mean, I mean, it has to make sense. It has to make sense. So I'm gonna say, yeah, a Butler who's sub mediocre. Well, it depends. He's bad situations, because I know the nose guard in this defense is very important, because that controls that basically sets off how the rest of the defensive line and the linebackers are going to go, when it comes to controlling the line of scrimmage. So if you have a guy who has played the position and has done very well in the position, because he's the one that's taking the double teams and the triple teams, and that leaves more guys open on the outside to make plays, because he is occupying 2 and sometimes 3 offensive linemen, and those are those stats that they don't have actual numbers for. Those are the unspoken stats. That's what gives all those is what really helps out. That's like the assist, basically. That's like the assist, basically. So if we're gonna win now, then let's do it. I don't know. I can say I'm just trying to sit back, because I want to win every year, of course, like everybody else does. Just when maybe I know, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna trust you guys. Whatever you guys do, because we got no saying that. There's no vote now if you want to go and trade for him. Okay, vote yes. There's nothing like that. So it's like, okay, if you guys,
can you imagine some of the trades that would have been approved,
or some of the trades that would have been denied.
Exactly. You see how some of these Raider fans are. They're crazy. Some of these would be hilarious. Yeah.
The thick six. Yeah, I guess the Chargers on that 63-21 game. That was our garbage points, by the way. That 21 points. But yeah, I mean,
outside of us, I think there's 2 teams that really would have a better shot at him, and that's the Rams and the Chargers. 49ers,
yeah, because
their window's closing fast.
They're closing as that substation stays open. Oh, they already got injuries. Okay, I wasn't gonna play this other video, but it's towards the end, and it was just kind of like a fill-in. But I want to show what my girl made this. What we did, not that one. We already played that one. What we did. See, there goes my echo again. Whatever. It's almost at the end of the show. This is what we did over the week, 2 weekends ago at a Raider Sing. So this is what we were. The video.
I think, yeah.
Oh, there is sound. Oh, she couldn't play music, so I gotta play music. So this is where we were at Raider Singh's place. He does a I'm trying to find the volume to the second. There it goes. Okay, there it goes. So this is at Raider Singh's place. He has a wedding venue, but for this weekend, he turned it into a Raider get together, a Raider fan showcase, and I was out there streaming it. I had some issues with the internet. Some guy went into my tent, went into my canopy, and kicked the cord. So I had to start a new stream again because some of these people don't understand. Like, if you see wires, don't walk through my canopy. I was on the side. Don't walk through my canopy. You see what's going on. But there you go. There's Gorilla out there dancing. We have some performers from Oakland, from Oakland area. There goes me right there with my whole setup, command center. Yeah.
Were you DJing it too?
Not DJing. I mean, what do they call it? VJing, video. But no, I was doing the stream. I have my main monitor. I have my touchscreen monitor. I have the monitor that controls my switcher, and I have my laptop that was sending feeds into the switcher. While I was connected to the DJ, so I had the audio on the side. So it was a whole setup. And I have 4 cameras around here. This echo's driving me mad. I can't stay in your StreamYard. So yeah, this is what we did. And my fiance put this together. So this is what we did out there this weekend. I was interviewing the DJ right there. So
Nice.
This is behind the scenes of what I was doing in the time off from this show. So I wanted to show that to everybody. To see there's a setup right there. There's the mixer. There's the iPad, the top screen. That's the main monitor. Then you have the touchscreen monitor. You know, the laptop and the other monitor. So it was a whole thing.
What's up, Raider Singh? I see you, brother. What's up, man?
So we were out there.
You can't play the music. That's awesome. That's
yeah.
a hell of a setup, though. And is this in his yard too? That's awesome.
Yeah. So and then Sing went out there and he was playing his drum out there too. Because you gotta have Sing play the drum. If Sing's gonna be there, he has the drum. Okay, that's
yeah.
You have to have that. So yeah, that's the DJ, and then I'm over here with my setup right here.
Nice.
So that's what we did. Make sure you like and subscribe. Okay, everybody.
Yeah. Anybody that's in my channel, it's the link for the cage match is in my description. It's pinned at the top of my chat. So make sure you guys go over to the cage match. Hit that subscribe, hit the notification, give the thumbs up on the show tonight too. And don't forget they're usually on every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah. And last question, and then we'll end the show. Tomorrow is the first football game. And I know they echo. It doesn't matter, whatever. Tomorrow's the first football game. It's the here's the belt. There's the belt. Cardinals and the
Carolina
Panthers. You get to see Minshew in Cardinal red.
Yeah.
I know it's preseason. Are you watching it? And what do you like? I don't say who you got because it's preseason. It's a Hall of Fame game. But are you watching? And what are you watching for? There we go.
I'm watching it because it's football. If football's on, I'm watching it. Doesn't matter who's playing. I don't really care anymore. It's the first game of the season, so yeah. I want to see. I want to see the Cardinals, to be honest with you, because we don't play the Panthers this year, so
no.
I could care less about that. We're gonna play the Cardinals, so I'm curious to see. We're gonna play them in preseason, and we play them during the regular season. So I'm curious to see. Right? Don't we play them in preseason?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That we play them
towards the end of the real schedule.
We play them. That's our first preseason game is against the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Next Thursday.
So we got to play against them next week, and we play them during the regular season. I want to see what these young guys got down there. I want to see if Carson Beckett's in their place, because I want to see how good Carson Beckett is down there. McBride, their tight end, I love the kid. I want to see what he's going to do. I want to see, in all honesty, what I think is the best running back to come out of out of the college ranks in the last few years, and that's Jeremiah Love. I want to see that kid. I would have taken him at number 6, no questions asked, over Genty.
Well,
I'm going to see what he can do. Unfortunately, he went to a shitty team.
Usually, I heard that he's not going to play this. He's not going to make his debut in this game, though.
All right. Well, I'll wait until he comes back. But either way, it's a football game. I'm going to watch it. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
I watched the Cleveland Browns and Arizona Cardinals if they were on TV. I don't care. The 2 worst teams possible. I'd watch them. It's football. Hey, this past Sunday was the last Sunday without. Oh, this Sunday comes the last Sunday without football until February. So, it's okay in my book.
Hey, it's here. It's here. Mm-hmm. It's here, man. Now it's time for the anticipation. I'm ready. We get to talk about it next week. The Raiders' first action on the field. I can't wait. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jeff, for coming on to the show.
I've had fun.
I appreciate it.
As always on this show.
Yes. I was getting some rust off from not hosting the show in 2 months. So I appreciate those who are patient with me, especially the new viewers who we got from that party, the new subscribers. So let me get back into mid-season form, okay? It's my preseason too. So I will be on next week. Will you be on next week? Because Asylum is out there making sure the world is safe.
If you need me, I'll be here. I got my Wednesday show's not on anymore, so.
Yeah, so I know you're going to bring the belt too. It's the only reason why. Because I want to make sure that my belt is safe for when I save it at the end of the season. We will bring back
look how shiny that is. You see that? Look at the reflection. How shiny she is.
Can't stand you,
Jeff. You're welcome. I love coming out here with Savage. Not so much Asylum. I'm kidding. I love you guys, man. You know that. I love coming out with you guys. It's always fun on this show. This show's a blast. Too many shows out there are uptight. Let's talk serious. I get that.
I know.
I gotta go up there.
I gotta start bringing my news voice. All right, so the Raiders here. We got the game next week against the Cardinals.
We all can't be Mitchell Rents. Well, let me tell you about this game that we just watched today, folks. Oh, shut up.
Oh yeah! Give me.
Baseball announcer, get out of here. Jesus Christ. It's so annoying.
The only baseball announcer, and it's rest in peace. The only one I like that I miss is this one right here.
Diego Romani, I'm in the bag.
Me?
Just a bit outside.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Raider football is just around the corner. It's preseason, but hey, I just love seeing my team in action, our team in action. I don't care if it's preseason, regular season, hopefully postseason, backyard rumble in the streets. We take care of the parking lot for you. But that's what I can't wait. I miss it, and it's back. The longest, shortest off seasons that we go through. New coaching staff, new hope, and hopefully a new home for my belt, comeback home belt. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Jeff has his song to close out the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Come back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. I got it. Oh, yeah. And we end every show like we always do with a word from my football coach, Coach Wallace, a.k.a. Raider Milt, out there in the Oakland Coliseum back in the day. Keep his memory alive, because that dude was throwing grenades. He calls it throwing grenades all over the stadium, talking mess in the back, I guess, the opposing teams. So, with that, we'll see you next week. Thank you, Jeff.
You're
and
welcome.
Asylum,
Thank you for having me.
Be safe out there. He likes his Budweiser not shaken or stirred, just straight out the can. Oh, yeah.
Stay safe. Go Raiders.
Go Raiders. Oh, yeah. Dig it.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight. Again, I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.